We are holding this webinar to help our most valued users, partners, and potential customers to understand what's coming with this release. So today's speaker, Timothy Liu, the CTO and co-founder of Hillstone Networks, will introduce the new StoneOS 5.5 R7 major highlights. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping items. So we will have a Q&A section at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type in your questions in the Q&A window on your screen. And Tim will answer the questions at the end of his presentation. So now I would like to turn it over to Tim.
Hi, everybody. So this webinar is about the StoneOS release 5.5 R7. It's going to schedule to be released toward the end of the month, in the next week or two. So in this webinar, we're going to take a look at some key features that's going to be released in this coming StoneOS release. Hillstone, as a security vendor, we strive to help our customer to achieve better security through helping them comprehensively see, thoroughly understand, and rapidly act against cyber threats. So we do this by offering better visibility, better intelligence, and better protection in our products and solutions. This is the list of Hillstone product line. As probably many of you are pretty familiar with it. So we have product offering in the perimeter, in the intranet, in the data center, as well as virtualization environment. This StoneOS release primarily affects firewall series, 3 firewall series, as well as Cloud Edge. So it impacts E series NG firewall, T series intelligent NG firewall, X series data center firewall, and Cloud Edge. This 5.5 R7 is released is actually one of the major releases. So internally, we'll also have feature releases at a more frequent interval. So in this major release, we actually group all those feature releases together. So it actually provides more than 100 features compared to the last release, which include things like SSL decryption optimization, IPv6 enhancements, new platforms like Storm, and multicast routing like PIM-SIM, things like that. So if you guys are more interested in the details of those features, when the product, when the StoneOS is released, there's actually a landing page where there's a release notes. You guys can look at the detailed features. In this webinar, what I'm primarily going to focus on are the 3 key features in 5.5 R7. So one is the IoT security feature targeting camera networks. There's a policy tools, a set of policy tools that help enterprise customers manage their policy. Also, this release have a new revamp the reporting in StoneOS. So we have a new look and feel, and also as well as new features in the reporting. So first of all, let's look at the IoT security. So Hillstone has been looking at this space for a long time, and IoT security, IoT itself as a technology is growing pretty quickly. Today is already the number of IoT devices already surpass mobile devices already, and it's going to increase manifold in the future. And also IoT bring up a lot of different kind of challenges. One is actually the device type. We all know that in the desktop computing and the mobile computing time, the device type is pretty. There's relatively few device types like Windows, Unix, Apple, Android, and iOS. Probably only a few. But when the IoT period comes, what we're seeing is we're going to see a lot more device types. The things that we see today and maybe things that we don't even know. So that is one of the IoT security challenges. So we not only need to be able to look at to understand the device that we have today, also need to have expansibility to understand device in the future. Okay, so why we choose the camera networks? Actually, the camera network is actually one of the more mature market. It's a more established market. So that's one of the reasons we're looking at it. The camera network actually have bring about a lot of different security risks. One is the camera, IP camera, because its deployment is easy to hack into, and also easy for the hacker to get access to. So inside the camera network, so what does Hillstone offer? So Hillstone IoT security solution can actively identify various types of video surveillance equipment. IPC is the IP camera. NVR is the network video recorder devices. Okay. So first of all, we actually identify major brands of IPCs and NVRs. So after we identify them, we can do access control. So based on the IP MAC, we can control the access. The third thing is we do behavior analysis, looking at normal behavior versus abnormal behavior, and block abnormal behavior. And the last thing, is we also do monitoring. We know the online, offline status, as well as operating status of the camera. We offer very flexible deployment scenario, so it can be deployed in a layer 3 mode or layer 2 mode. Also, we offer tap mode connection versus inline connection mode, so you can be very flexible in your existing environment. Okay, the second part is about the policy management. Large enterprise, if you have more than 100 policy, the policy management can be a nightmare. In some large companies, you can have more than 1,000 policy, even tens of thousands policies. In those cases, some company even resort to use Excel to manage their policy. They have to, here are some of the challenges. For example, they have to manage the life cycle of the policy. When is the policy created? When is changed? And when is deleted? So, for example, one of the problems is people are keeping adding to the policy, but they don't know when to delete them. Also, one of the challenges is when you have a new service to deploy, you don't really know what is the exact source destination policy details. So how do you solve that problem? There are additional problems regarding how to, when you have a large collection of policy, to see if whether all the policies have been used and when are they being used. So to solve this problem, we have been developing, in this release, we actually releasing 2 tools. One is called Policy Assistant, which basically help you understand the connections regarding when you try to launch a new service, new application. And we also have a policy analysis tool that help you identify which policies are getting hit and when they are getting hit. So you can actually use these tools together with other tools inside the StoneOS to help you manage policy. Regarding the policy assistant, here's how it's going to be used. So within the set of policies, you can enable a policy assistant for a particular policy. So what's that going to happen is for the sessions and connections that hit that policy, we're going to remember it. Okay, we're going to record it. And after you run it for a period of time, you can actually, inside the policy assistant, see all the sessions or connections that have been hitting that policy. And below in that, red the square section, what you can do is you can configure a new policy, maybe a more fine-grained policy based on the traffic that you see. So it's a way to better way to deploy your service. You can start with a more cross-grained policy and be able to eventually narrow it down. For the policy analysis part, is basically a more enhanced view of the hit on the policy. So instead of just a single hit count for each policy, we also will be able to show you the hit time for that policy. So it will show you the first hit for that policy, also the last hit for that policy. So if a policy has not been hit for a number of months, maybe it's time for you to take a look to see if that policy is still being used. Okay, the third section I want to talk about is about StoneOS reporting. So this StoneOS release has done a number of enhancements in the reporting area. So one of the challenges that administrators face is to generate reports for different use. You may want to generate a set of reports for your CIO to take a look at the overall security posture of your network. You may also need a report for your data administration. For the security side, you may want to take a look at the reporting on threats to see what you need to deal with day by day. And last but not least, we also need to be able to back up our historic data for traceability and forensics. So for the reporting enhancement in 5.5R7, so we have several areas. One is we have now a more granular and a customizable templates. So you can more items to choose from to form your templates, and more parameters you can choose as well. The report will have a better visibility. It will have a new layout, new color scheme, and it's a more visual, pleasing reporting. The third thing is it has more rich and helpful content that help you to. It has some actionable items that you can do once you read the report. The fourth is on the format of the report. So right now you can export the report in PDF, HTML, Word, and also be able to send it out via email or FTP. So this is the customizable template configuration. As you can see, there's a number of lists of items as well as parameters within each item that you can configure. So basically what you do is just check those boxes for the ones that you want in your report template, and later on use that template to generate a report. So this is just a screenshot of the report. So we have a new layout and new better graphics, and also it shows you the risk posture of the network as well as key statistics that of threads and hosts in your system. There are bullet points about your network status that you can use. Here are some more screenshots with applications and risks associated for application. There are also actionable items that the report can provide you for you to focus on. Okay, that's it, and thank you very much.
Okay, so if you guys have questions, please type in from the box below on the screen. Okay, so let me ask some questions representing you guys to team. So here there's a question, team. What kind of IoT devices are supported in this release? And how can I enable this service?
Okay. So in this release, we started with camera networks. As I said, it's basically because the market for the camera network is established, and it has a very big install base, current install base. So and also, it has very real security needs as well. So that's why it's the market we are focusing on. So we understand, the technology actually behind IoT security is pretty common. It has several key technologies like asset discovery, like device identification, which apply to all the IoT devices. But in this case, we're focusing on the camera at this point. To enable the feature, what you do is there's a license offer that's being offered today. So you need to get that license.
I see. So probably after the release of the StoneOS 5.5 R7, the users will be able to purchase licenses.
Yeah.
Okay. So which product models support IoT security?
Yeah, today it's the E-series. On the E-series NG firewall, yes.
So only E-series support IoT security?
Yes.
Gotcha. Any more questions? Okay, here I got one. Does the report feature update apply to all the firewall products?
Yes.
I see. Is there any differences?
I think there are additional features in the T-series model that not in the X and the E.
I see. Okay, let's check if there are any more questions. Okay, so here there's a one about policy. So hi team, will the policy feature update affect the firewall performance?
The firewall feature, the firewall assistant, you have to enable on a policy, but only on the policies that you care about. So we think it will impact performance, but only slightly. It's not going to impact performance a great deal.
I see. Okay, let's see. Is there any more questions? Okay, let's answer one last question. So about the SSL, are we going to have the SSL proxy performance enhancements in this new release?
Yes, that's part of the release. I mentioned before, there's actually more than 100, enhancements and features in this release, and SSL performance is one of them.
I see. Okay. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to wrap up here. Okay. Thank you, team. Thank you for taking the time to join us. So I hope you all found it very helpful and informative experience with our webinar. So for more information on what we have discussed today, we invite you to reach out us through the email or the phone number on the screen. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.